jingle bell mock. It's mock draft season and Broshmo is singing. And welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving my views, thoughts, and opinions. Got a special one for you today as Bengal just released a mock draft. So let's go ahead and mock that sucker. But what's crack-a-lackin' is your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. If you love weekly fantasy or maybe player prop bets or just picking games, Underdog Fantasy is the place for you. When you use promo code Broshmo when you sign up, they will reach into their little bag of Christmas goodies and reward you for using promo code Broshmo. Remember, my friends, bet responsibly. Let's go ahead, get into this. I want to do this real quick and clarify. Look, that's Bengal, that's his face. Haha, it's just easier to see the pics this way. So let's go ahead and get into this sucker. I went ahead and watched the video, so I suggest you go ahead and do so as well, as Bengal makes really good content. And let's go ahead and get into this. I think he takes a minute, talks. Okay, so let's preface this first pick by, or at least with, Bengal is doing something a little different with this. This is kind of like a what if scenario if the Texans do not take a quarterback first overall, which probably leads you to believe, okay, this pick is, I guess it's Will Anderson, right? And we in fact see that it is in fact Will Anderson. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Here we go. There we go. That's a little better. And he goes ahead, takes Will Anderson. Listen, you're taking the best non-quarterback prospect available if you decide not to go quarterback. So if that is in fact the decision for the Houston Texans, then this is likely the pick. He did not do trades in this, so heads up, no trades. Number 2 is Jalen Carter. Really, if you're the Chicago Bears, this pick is either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, or unless someone wants to trade up to get a quarterback. But since, again, no trades, you go with, I guess at this point, whoever the Texans didn't take, since they decided not to go with quarterback. So far, so good. It's going to be interesting. Let's see what Seattle does with this next pick. Now that, because for a lot of people, it's kind of a safe assumption that Seattle will be having the top non-quarterback prospect that Chicago decides to not to select between Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. It's just those are the top 2 guys, and then it's a clear tier below with who the next guy is. So let's see what he does here for Seattle. Takes Myles Murphy. I'm a huge fan of Myles Murphy. He's not quite in that, I would say, in the tier of Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. He's a bit unpolished as a pass rusher, but the tools and just the athleticism and his size is just you want to take that guy. So they get a good pass rusher to pair up with the current combination they have with Nwosu and Boye Mafe. So they go with that there. Cardinals, this is going to be a very interesting one. I imagine edge being off the table. Not going edge. Obviously, Jalen Carter's not here. Who essentially comes down to what are you higher on? The tackle in this class or the corners? And you're going to take the top player there. And that's in fact what Bengal does with the Arizona pick. There we go. In Peter Skoronski. Now, Skoronski might end up being a guard for some teams because of the lack of length. He's not a high-end athlete like Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, but we know he's a gosh darn good player. He really is. And I think he goes probably goes top 10 regardless, I would imagine. But he's going here at 4 to the Cardinals, instead of opting for rather than guys who kind of project to be tackles in Paris Johnson or Broderick Jones. We don't see a corner here, so let's see what happens at number 5, because I love it. You'll love it. You got Bryce Young. No kidding. If this guy's available, I'm not going to lie. I would have thought about him at number 3 for the Seahawks, but he's here at 5, and this is the interesting thing with the Detroit Lions. This isn't their pick. This is the Rams' pick. And I think you don't stare a gift horse in the mouth. I love that saying. I'm going to be using it a lot. I really am. I used it in the last video. I'm going to be using it in this video. And anytime a quarterback goes to the Lions, I'm going to be using it. Listen, you don't stare a gift horse in the mouth. You just go ahead, you take the gift horse. It may not feel pretty. You may really like Jared Goff, but with how valuable the quarterback position is, you get two good quarterbacks that will battle out in camp. If you feel Bryce Young could probably use a year to develop, then cool, you're starting Goff. Bryce Young gets a start, then that's wonderful. Hopefully he's good. I imagine he is. I'm willing to take him at 1. So here at 5, I imagine he's going to be a good player. So now you could get off Goff's kind of crazy contract. So it's like I look at it as a good scenario. And I mean, even at this pick, it's like, what are you going to do defensively? Because that would be the pick, right? So corner, you could, but I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't think there's a top 10 corner in this class. But between like the top 4 corners, everyone's kind of discussing being Cam Smith, Christian Gonzalez, Keely Ringo, Joey Porter, that they're all kind of on like the same footing in terms of it's kind of like whoever you feels fits your scheme. So like, I don't know. Are you going to like, I think probably schematically, maybe Christian Gonzalez is the better fit for the Lions. Keely Ringo's close, so I think he could be a bit more versatile in his schemes, but like when you're looking for an actual scheme fit, it's kind of Christian Gonzalez. So it's like, is it worth this 5th round pick? Well, we could just trade down. Well, you need to find a trading partner. Like who? Like, I mean, I guess if Bryce Young's still on the board, that should be fairly easy. But it's like, I feel like there's so much more value to be had at getting potentially a franchise quarterback than just trading down and grabbing more picks. But regardless, Young's here. I wouldn't even think twice about it. If this obviously being Stroud or mainly Stroud, I don't think I'd pick Will Levis here for Detroit. But Stroud, I'd be hard pressed to talk me off of it right now. Let's go ahead to the Colts pick because it too be quarterback, yo. And CJ Stroud, listen, the Colts, they're gonna blow up certain aspects of this team. They're gonna look at some of the contracts they're on, see which ones they could get off. I don't know if Chris Ballard will be back, which is a wild thing to say, man, because he's a pretty good GM. But they could, quite frankly, blow things up. I mean, that's how wild that 33-point comeback was, man. It really deflates a team, and you get this bad feeling in the organization. Regardless, this pick's going to be quarterback, though. And CJ Stroud, I like it. I like it a lot. The Atlanta Falcons are going Brian Brazee. You get to pair him up with Grady Jarrett. I'm cool with that. I have Brazee over Tyree Wilson, so I think that's fine. Jared Verse could also be in the discussion here because you do want to think about maybe getting another pass rusher to pair up with Arnold Ebiketie, which you've seen from him has been encouraging. Lorenzo Carter is not a long-term option, so I'm not going to treat him as such. But Brian Brazee is probably the next guy on my board after like Miles Murphy. So, yeah. Carolina Panthers. So I thought this one was going to be Will Levis when I was watching the video. And I wasn't wrong about the position. I was just wrong about the player. What did you do? There we go. Anthony Richardson. He's swinging on the upside, the tools of Anthony Richardson over Will Levis, who you can argue, yeah, the tools aren't nearly as high, but he's at least coming from a offense that's very translatable to the NFL, as he was this former OC the last 2 years. Well, there were coaches in the NFL, with this past year being the former 49ers quarterback coach, and the year before was Liam Cohen, who was initially the Rams offensive coordinator. He was Kentucky's OC back in 2021. Rams coordinator this year, and now he's actually back at Kentucky as the OC. That's kind of funny. So it's like I think Will Levis, at least there's less projection involved. And I mean, I get it with Richardson, like the tools are nuts, but I don't know, man. I don't know if teams will risk that inside the top 10. Guess we'll see. The Philadelphia Eagles is picked via the Saints. They're going to go with Christian Gonzalez. I'm telling y'all, Christian Gonzalez is a really good scheme fit for the Eagles. And they probably feel better about going with him here at 9 than it was 5. I think I did that at 5 like a week ago. Again, I like to experiment with possibilities, things that could happen in the draft. So I try to have a few different picks every now and then. But Christian Gonzalez, ideal press man corner. This team's played a lot of man coverage this year. The year prior, they were mainly cover 3. So for the on-test purposes, you know this team is a single high team. But Christian Gonzalez is probably schematically, the best press man, man coverage corner in this class. On to the Green Bay Packers, as they're going to go with Cam Smith, and we'll cover the Raiders pick in a sec. Cam Smith, so they grab some cornerback help. This one's a bit interesting because you got Jair Alexander. He's mainly playing on the inside. On the outside, you got Eric Stokes, Rasul Douglas, and I get it, man. Like, corner it's exceptionally volatile, as you can tell this season, because you would look at the Packers secondary and be like, man, that's very promising secondary, and they've been very lackluster this year. But it's a volatile position. Teams love to have competition and talent at the corner position, so bringing in Cam Smith would be nice. It's just I feel like there's other positions you could probably address with a player who's at least in the vicinity, maybe even higher on some boards than Cam Smith, maybe like Michael Mayer. You could talk about one of the tackles in this class. Paris Johnson would be the first guy that would probably come to mind there. Even on the defensive end in the front, like Tyree Wilson and such. Tyree Wilson does go to the Raiders here. Chandler Jones, listen, might have had one of the sickest plays in football history. He may have stiff-armed Mac Jones into another dimension. He may have thrown the mac and cheese into the dirt. But we do know Chandler Jones is in the twilight years of his career, and really there's no one else helping provide pass rush on that outside next to Max Crosby. So Tyree Wilson, it is a bit of a project, but one I think worth having. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go Paris Johnson here. Bengal really hates the offensive line for the Jaguars, and I don't quite hate it, but it's not good. Like, I'm not a big fan of Cam Robinson. Juwan Taylor's likely hitting free agency. They have no idea what they have in Walker Little. And even then, he could be a guy that they can move to guard, because guess what? Guard help. They need it. Haha. Tyler Shantley, better backup center than he is a guard. You got Brandon Sheriffs, who's, I don't know, man. Just injuries have really screwed this guy's career. He just doesn't seem the same. And Ben Barch, who hasn't been good. So, like, moving maybe Walker Little on the inside would be nice, and having Paris Johnson there on the outside. Or even Paris Johnson could start his first year inside at guard before replacing Cam Robinson, and then Walker Little will be your right tackle. So, I like the idea. I like this idea. And then we got the Houston Texans. They're going... Okay, hold up. There we go. Jordan Addison. This is the first receiver off the board. And I could get it that, they're moving on from Brandon Cooks, so they should get a receiver very similar to Brandon Cooks, which would be Jordan Addison. I still kind of lean Quentin Johnston, but that's because he's my top receiver in this class. Regardless, man, I like the idea of pairing up. Oh, wait, they didn't draft a quarterback. But I like the idea of them snagging a receiver here, because I think it's very likely they'll get the first shot at the top receiver at pick 13, because this receiving class isn't quite what we've seen in years past. To be fair, previous years have kind of spoiled us at the receiver position. All right, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They go Broderick Jones, and I think Broderick Jones is an exceptional fit to the Steelers. He really comes in and could be a very good run block and tackle early on, who has high-end athletic traits, great frame, size, base, stupid strong. So I like that pick there. Then we're on to, excuse me, Trenton Simpson going to the Seahawks. This pairs him up with Miles Murphy, because keep in mind, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter went 1 and 2. And Trent Simpson, I think you're getting a better guy out in space than Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks is really just kind of like this old school thumper, very kind of like the average of what you want at linebacker. Simpson has a bit more upside as a blitzer, pass rusher. You can do it from the outside. He can shoot gaps. He's so good out in space. The coverage, the splash plays and coverage haven't been there for him, but athletically, he's a guy that can keep track with guys in coverage. So I do like that addition. So yeah, they're actually both they're going with Clemson players for both of them. Interesting. New England Patriots, DeJuan Jones. Wow. Actually, I didn't remember this one. Kind of caught me off guard. Kind of surprised me. DeJuan Jones, he is rising up boards. I don't know if he's anything more than a fringe first rounder right now at this point. I do like to reference, like, this is a cat with, like, last year, if you remember, Daniel Falele. He's a guy with that size, but he's way more polished, and the production's a bit better than it was with Falele, who, big reason why he fell out of day 2. Jones, that's why we're talking about him here at Fringe Day 1. This feels like a bit of a reach, but I understand with an often hurt Trent Brown, Isaiah Wynn is going to be a free agent, so there is a case to be made that they are willing to go with that. All right, the Jets go. All right, they go Anton Harrison. So we're seeing a run on tackles here now. Anton Harrison, another guy that's kind of a fringe first rounder. Big fan. The play strength ain't quite there yet. It's something he spent this past off season trying to get better at, and we did see some improvements, but it's just he's still a work in progress when it comes to his play strength. But he's been fabulous for Oklahoma. I'm a big fan of Anton Harrison. I like this idea of getting a potential tackle there at left to maybe battle it out with Mekhi Becton when he comes back. But knowing your long-term options probably going to be this pick. And then you got Elijah Vera Tucker. Maybe move him out to right tackle, or it depends how they feel about Max Mitchell, I guess. But regardless, even the interior I think is looking good with Nate Herbig. Bring back Connor McGovern. He's been really good. Lincoln Tomlinson, you got to hope he'll get better after signing that contract, but I don't know. We'll see. But, I mean, this is a team that they're going to want to run the football, and that requires all parts of the offensive line firing off well. The Detroit Lions are the next pick up here. They go Keely Ringo. And again, we've seen the corners fall as we still have Joey Porter, I believe, still on the board. And I think I talked about Ringo potentially being a good scheme fit along with Christian Gonzalez. So you're going to pair Ringo up with Jeffrey Okudah. And I like that. That's a great young corner duo going forward. And then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I believe this is where we see quarterback again. Yep, Will Levis. So he goes Will Levis here. Will Levis takes a stumble. I mean, I think, I don't know. I'd be very compelled if I was teams like the Seahawks or like with their second pick or the Jets to take Will Levis. Just because he's kind of pro ready, and you're just kind of hoping the decision making gets better, and that's something maybe you could coach up. So with Brady potentially leaving, I think there's a really good chance. I mean, I feel like it's bigger than 50-50, but potentially leaving, then Will Levis immediately becomes a plug and play guy. Tennessee Titans, man, this is a roster that I honestly have no idea what to do with. Let's see what Bengal did. Quentin Johnston. Oh, wow. Oh, I forgot he was still on the board. So you got Quentin Johnston to pair up with Treylon Burks. They saw good things from Kyle Phillips in the preseason and before he got hurt. So he'll come back to be the slot. But Quentin Johnston, you got a nice possession receiver, a guy with that can be a vertical contested catch guy. Problem is, man, I really think the tight ends need a separator. They just really don't have that currently at the wide receiver position. Washington Commanders, I imagine this is Joey Porter. It is Joey Porter. Okay. So they go Joey Porter. He would actually be a pretty good scheme fit in Jack Del Rio's defense. You're going to throw him there across from Benjamin St. Juice. Good young corner duo, hopefully moving forward. Obviously, things didn't work out with Will Jackson, so you kind of try to you try to make good on that. Michael Mayer being here is absolutely great value, and the Chargers take him. Gerald Everett, I don't think is a long-term option. He's got one more year on the contract. But Michael Mayer, I mean, it would be nice. Like it'd be nice. There's like other positions you probably want to address, but when it comes to the draft, you should be drafting for value, not need. I think when you get to drafting for need, then you start to reach on players that don't be deserving to go as high as you took them. Really, address your needs at free agency and then come into the draft and just grab good players. And Michael Mayer is a very good player. All right, we got the New York Football Giants, Bengals team, by the way. And he went with... Oh my gosh. He still hasn't picked. I'm here clicking through the video. There we go. And we'll talk about the Ravens pick in a sec. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm not wild about this. Wandale's kind of their slot guy. I don't think Jackson Smith and Jigba can play or at least win on the outside. In the NFL, I kind of think, he's a slot guy. He's not going to be the fastest guy in this class, but he's a smooth athlete. He knows how to get open, and he knows how to produce after the catch. And I think there are going to be some NFL teams that value what he brings to the table more than other ones. I don't know if the Giants are necessarily one of those teams, because I think they kind of play on Wandale to be the guy. He came when he returned from injury. He was immediately like a heavy slot player. So it's like, I'm not in love with the fit. Clark Phillips, I find this interesting because I just don't think Clark Phillips is a good scheme fit for the Baltimore Ravens, especially at his size. I feel like they might be looking at him as a slot guy, and I mean that's Kyle Hamilton right now. He's kind of their slot player. So Phillips, I love the player. I just don't love the fit. All right, on to the Denver Broncos. They go Darnell White, so we continue to see these tackles come off the board. Wright had a really good season there for Tennessee. I don't think he allowed a sack. Some people are higher on him than I am. I kind of have him for the most part a day two guy. I know Alex from Hail Mary Sports really loves Darnell White. So Broncos getting on a right tackle is kind of a cop out because it's kind of hard to project what the Broncos would want to do. And just because it's cop out doesn't mean it's not like a wrong pick or a bad pick. I think this is a solid pick. It's just I'm not that high on Wright. All right, on to the Cincinnati Bengals. They will be taken. Wow, these tackles keep flying. I forgot about that. Matthew Bergeron. I think Bergeron. He's probably better of a day two guy. He's definitely going to be a top 100. He's had a very solid season there. Don't know. I think he was at Ontario before deciding to come to Syracuse. But I don't know about first round. Listen, straight up. This just makes me think how great the Senior Bowl is going to be. The battle between the defensive line and the offensive line is going to be epic. That is going to be must-watch at the Senior Bowl. I can't wait for that. Dallas Cowboys. I believe this is our Bijan destination. because Bijan's so hard to figure out where he will go in this draft class. He really is. Tony Pollard is a free agent. Listen, if Bijan's sitting right there, you snag him up in a freaking heartbeat. All right, then we got Isaiah Foskey going to the Kansas City Chiefs. I like it because I think he feels like a Steve Spagnuolo guy. I mean, when you look at what they have currently in Frank Clark, yeah, it feels like Foskey is that guy. Great length, good first step, good run defender. Needs a little more polished in his like pass rush tools and such. Also needs to learn how to use his length a little bit better. But a guy with I think a very high floor and a good ceiling as well. The Minnesota Vikings up on the clock here. They will go Devin Witherspoon. Good pick. They need help in the secondary. Their defense is just awful. Just is. All right, we got the Buffalo Bills. I don't think we can see his. You could probably faintly see his pick. Here, I'm going to point to it right there. Because it's Pro Football Network, they got a little ad thing, so it kind of blocks it. But they go Brian Branch. This is a team that will probably try to get younger at safety position with, I can't remember if Poyer or Hyde are, which one of them are the free agents, but one of them, their deal comes up this year, at the end of this year, and then the other has one more year on that contract. DeMar Hamlin, I think, has played good football this season. Did get sauced by Jalen Waddle, but I mean, Waddle will do that to a lot of guys. I like Branch. He's a guy that will come up, play the run very effectively, shows good range, great athlete. And then for the final pick, I believe he goes Gervin Dexter for the Philadelphia Eagles. In fact, that is where he goes. And gets that interior help because Javon Hargrave's a free agent. Fletcher Cox, they're eventually going to move on from him. I think there's promise with Jordan Davis. But outside of that, man, they could definitely use more interior help. Gervin Dexter is kind of another fringe first rounder at this point. Great, very interesting size, but plays exceptionally low, given he's 6'6". Plays with good leverage. So, yeah, I like that pick. I think it's pretty solid. But that's it for the video. I will be releasing a 3-round mock draft tomorrow. Merry Christmas. So hopefully you'll go ahead and check that out. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.